The dollar takes its final nail in the coffin as the bears go in for the absolute obliteration of the carcass that's left of the dollar. Guys, let's break down all of the very key macro and technical talking points for the dollar right now. Let's jump straight into this. Morning, 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 traders. Happy Friday. I hope we're all well and truly led. Yes, we are back with another day in these beautiful markets. Guys, let's jump straight into this rundown. There is a lot right now going on in the background. I'm going to bring you up to speed, but I'm going to really take a lot more time on Sunday in our week ahead analysis to prep for the week ahead, as we usually do, to go into a little bit more detail. But I'm just going to give some overview because there's so many talking points. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market. Now, the dollar's obviously been hammered. We went over the reasons for this, but there's a lot of added downside pressure. Okay, and you can look this morning, we're already breaking out of this sort of 104 area. You can see where we've been consolidating, but looking for another drop to the downside. And really, when you look at next safety, look at where it is. You guys can see it. I don't even need to say. Can you see that next zone? All the way down towards 101. Guys, you see all this information that I'm putting into this video, it just comes like that, right? It's second nature to me. And the reason being is because obviously I have that experience. Nothing beats experience in these markets. Everything that I have learned, I've been able to simplify because a lot of information that's out there in the public domain is extremely overcomplicated and a lot of jargon. And it doesn't make it easy for the everyday person, everyday trader trying to learn macros, understand, why is the price just spiked here because of this fundamental reason? I don't understand it because all this information's over, complicated. But for me, all these years, I've been able to simplify it, make it easy and digestible and actionable for the everyday trader. And that's exactly what I've been able to do. And I've put together in my fundamental bootcamp course, which you can obviously check out if you're willing and keen to really level up your whole game. You can thank me later on that. Anyway, let's continue with the video. 100.50. So the dollar's selling off because of that uncertainty that I remembered around the US economy. No one knows the implications of, as I say, all these tariffs. And it's not even just that. It's like Trump's announcing fucking tariffs, and then he's suspending, he's pausing, he's announcing, and he's suspended again. It's just messy. And in a way, right, where it's so volatile and unclear, who wants to be invested in the US economy when there's so many marks above the economy anyway? And then for Trump to be like, tariffs on, tariffs off, tariffs on, tariffs off. He's like a fucking kid, in the seat. One of the most important, arguably one of the most important jobs in the world. And there he is on, off, on, off, on, off, like it's some fucking game. So I'm just being explicit in terms of language, just to make how clear why the dollar's selling off and why you wouldn't want to be backing the United States, given those question marks and given this behavior, this bipolar behavior from Trump. Yes, it's a way of him, it's maybe his tactics, but it's very aggressive and probably not the most strategic method of tactics to pursue because you lose credibility as well. All right. So that's why the dollar is coming under pressure, and that's why 100 is back in sight for the greenback. Okay. Now, that aside, obviously euro dollar's been able to take advantage of this dollar upside at the moment, of this dollar downside, excuse me. When you look, obviously, on the flip side to the Dixie, the next major zone is 111, 112. Okay. We had the ECB rate decision yesterday where, as expected, they cut by 25. But their language, look, flip side to the Dixie, we're breaking out of a bit of a pennant this morning. Yeah, getting a little bit of a breakout here. And when you look left, I mean, from here, probably going to be magnetized towards sort of 109 quite quickly. All right. Obviously, an element of caution heading into, obviously, all the data today, and Powell is speaking. But the way things are moving, you can see markets still want to remain short dollar. Obviously, we're going to keep an eye on this data. We can't ignore that. At the end of the day, obviously, despite how dominating and there are in terms of market talking points and news right now, we have to keep an eye on this data. And I can only say if this data comes out lower than expected, dollars, that 100 will be seen very quickly, early next week. Okay, so numbers are expected to soften when you look at the average earnings, which would be deflationary. Markets will argue if more rate cuts are coming from the FOMC, if earnings are coming down, because if earnings are coming down, then it means potentially less spending. And then if there's less spending, inflation, price of goods and services start to come down. Employment change expected to remain at 150, remain expected to be okay, higher than expected. Unemployment rate expected to be at 4%. Okay, which is obviously good unemployment. But let's see. As I say, if there's any surprise to the downside, the dollar is in trouble. That will just be the nail in the coffin for that 100. That 100 return. All right. I'm not interested in jumping into any trades right now. Okay, I'm going to talk about trades in a moment. But we had a good week. Guys, as I always say, this is just a tiny snippet scratching the surface with the value that I'm putting out on a daily basis via the TFTC and to my mentorship community. Let me just make one thing clear. Since that last video, obviously, a lot has changed, which is why we stay in tune with the fundamentals. I had a couple of people, obviously people that don't really get shit, messaging me like, oh, you got it wrong. Oh, no fucking shit. I thought the dollar was going to hold some ground. Macros change, which is why we keep our finger on the pulse and understand why we shift and we move with the market. There's one thing for me, right? Over these 16 years I've been in this game, okay? I've got a lot of skin in this game. There's one thing for me is I park my fucking ego to the side, right? I will always have a very informed view, and most of the time, in terms of my macroeconomic view, it will be correct. And just with anything in this world, you're not going to be fucking right every single time, but it doesn't matter. Ego to the side, trade what you see, understand why the markets are moving the way they are, because markets will take narratives that they want to run with. Fundamentals change always. You know, things happen in the world. So we have to remain agile and nimble and understand and move with the markets, right? Not trading what we think, but what we see. So relax, haters, relax. I know what the fuck I'm doing. You guys, obviously, as I always say, if you want to check out obviously our premium community, you can check it out, no pressure. Otherwise, keep enjoying these videos as and when I have time to do them. If you do want to take your knowledge to a whole different level, you can check the macroeconomic course, the fundamental bootcamp course, which is hours and hours and hours of education, practical education of how we actually apply fundamentals, tying them in with the technicals with some strategies. So you can check that out as well via the link below. Also, guys, don't forget to join my free Discord, okay? The Fundamental Trading Club. The link is also below, where obviously from time to time I am posting little insights, little bits of commentary, okay, when I'm not sort of posting on socials. And the key thing for this is there's other like-minded people talking about fundamentals, other like-minded traders that are talking about fundamentals, what's going on, posting key stuff, giving their insights, giving their own thoughts. And one thing that I need to note as well, very, very soon, I have been extremely busy with a number of projects, but very soon I'm going to be doing a live webinar, okay? Because markets are really super sexy right now with a lot of key talking points and things that I haven't even sort of mentioned, okay? Which obviously, as I say, you don't get a lot of insight from me on a day-to-day basis, but there is a lot that you need to know. There's a lot of shit going down and about to go down on a global macro level. So what we'll do, if you just make sure you're in the TFTC, the Fundamental Trading Club, the free Discord, you'll be stay up to date with the incoming webinar that I'm going to do. And on that webinar, obviously, it's going to be very educational. It's going to be a serious market update. And of course, you can ask me questions. We will have a Q&A session on that. In terms of the actual timing, to be confirmed, but it will be in the matter of weeks. All right. So just make sure you're in that Discord community if you want to be part of that free. You make that very clear. It's a free webinar. All right. Take it with both hands. But other than that, stay lit, stay blessed, and let's get it.